Hello everyone, this is Lizbot3000 here, and I am bringing another episode of Tarot Tiny Homes builds in The Sims 4. Today we've got the Empress card, which is the fourth card of the Major Arcana. You can see a picture of the Rider-Waite-Smith version of it on the left side of my screen. And on the top right, you can see my inspiration for the build itself, which is a little Victorian home, actually. So traditionally, this card represents female gender roles, basically. So beauty, fertility, pregnancy, motherhood, nurturing, all sorts of wonderful stereotypes. And then tangentially, it can represent creative expression, abundance, and nature. I decided to lean into the nature one because I am just not really a fan of traditional gender roles. So this build was actually inspired by a greenhouse, which I built second. So we'll get to that in a bit. Here you see me fiddling with the roof trims for this tiny little Victorian home, which, by the way, Victorian homes are not tiny. It was a bit of a challenge capturing the essence of that in one home that is less than 64 tiles in The Sims. And as a side note, I generally don't like the color yellow, so me using yellow siding for this build was it was branching out for me. I know that's kind of crazy for some people, but yellow, it's a stretch. Okay, it's a stretch. I'm just doing some last minute fiddling here with the roof. I've got some spandrels and just going to go in and add some lighting. Like I said, I decided to build a greenhouse in addition to this because I wanted to lean into the nature aspect of the card. You know, things like beauty, fertility, and nurturing apply to nature just as much as they do anything else. So here is me building this little conservatory. And you'll notice I'm being complicated about it, and that's because I wanted to stick to the tiny home designation. So I'm doing some hacks to be able to make a decent sized greenhouse, but still stay under that tile limit. So what I have done, please ignore the mess here. If you create your outside, but don't close it off, and draw the last portion of your shell and move that, you'll see me do it here and again in a sec. It doesn't count it as a complete room. So here I'm adding some little roof bits of that gorgeous clear, I don't know, it's this gorgeous greenhouse trim. And another bug of The Sims I've exploited is if you add some windows to a wall and then shrink the windows, you still get the hole basically in the window, but you don't see the trim of the window. So I basically removed that edge of the roof so it's clear and doesn't impede the view that we're about to make. What I'm doing here is I'm adding some fencing to the top as part of this. Now this is a trust the process sort of thing. I looked through every bit of fencing that I allowed myself for these packs, and I am not joking, this baby-proof fencing is the one that looked the best. There were some gorgeous ones in Realm of Magic and Vampires that worked really well, but I decided to limit myself in the packs. And so this is the best thing I had. My last bug I'm exploiting in this game is sliding the roof over so it's not flush with the top of that room. You have to create it on a separate room, raise it up, and kind of scoot the roof piece over until it's where you want it. So as I alluded earlier, I wanted to restrict the packs I used on this, unlike the last few. So the only packs I'm using in this build are Base Game, Cottage Living, Tiny Living, Blooming Rooms, and the Greenhouse Haven. I don't even actually end up using anything from Tiny Living, I'm just using it for the tiny house thing. I also decided not to use the Tool mod, which you've probably seen me use a few times. It's really handy, but I like to show what you can do without having to rely on it. So this is all stuff you can do. Anyone can do. You don't have to download anything for it. These are all just hacks and tips and exploits that anyone can do. So really, I hope this helps other people get some ideas for what they can do too in their game. Moving on, I'm just finishing up some landscaping here. Cottage Living really came in clutch here. There's just some awesome landscaping, some in debug, some not. That really just fleshed this out and made it feel nice, made it feel real. So the rest of this video is just me. It's just me furnishing the house and the greenhouse. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and I'm just not that great at blathering on for 20 minutes at a time. So I'm just gonna stop here, put on some chill music for you to listen to, and just hopefully enjoy the this tiny home I'm making for the Empress. So let me know in the comments what you think about all this. Do you think that I am hitting the mark? Do you think that this is an interesting, cool interpretation of the card, or am I like totally wrong? After all, tarot is all symbolism, and I am explicitly choosing to ignore a huge part of this just because, hey, it's Pride Month, and I don't think that gender should be represented in a specific way. So yeah, comment if you liked it or not. If you have any ideas for any future builds, I'm all ears. I would love to hear your ideas. There's a few cards I'm looking forward to and already know what I'm gonna do, and there's a few that I'm just like, I have no clue whatsoever. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking, but thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!